Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and welcome back to my channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. How are y'all doing? You know what? Okay, so I'm gonna give you just like a quick update on how I'm doing as a person because I think some of you have been wondering, some of you have been asking, and if you don't want that and you just want to skip to the part where I cover things about Amberlynn Reed's Instagram Q&A she's been doing the past few days, I'll try to remember to leave a timestamp for that. Honestly, truly, I'm like, I'm trying to keep it together, because truly, I so much want to be on the internet doing internet things, being silly, being goofy, which is why, you know, even today I am pushing myself a little bit to do a video over here, even though it's just literally covering like the most mundane Instagram stories from Amberlynn. And I want to do that. I want to get here on the internet because it's just a lot for me to sit around all day. Like, I already work from home anyways, right? Like, I work here in these four walls. I sit in front of this camera. I make goofy videos, and that's that on that, right? But like, if I just sit around here and do nothing in these four walls, then I just like start some like anxiety looping. It's something I've talked a lot about with my therapist, and we have many things to get myself out of that looping, and one of those things is to literally just do my job. so that's a big part of why I'm here. But the other thing I do want to just say is that, like, one thing, I'm sure maybe a lot of you can relate with this, but a lot of ways that like grief, stress, mourning, etc. manifests is in pain. I have been dealing with some like chronic shoulder pain for a while. I've talked about it maybe a little bit on Twitch, but not as much over here. Ever since Judy passed, the pain has actually been like worse. Like, the day she actually passed, like, I was in so much pain. To be quite honest with you, the only thing that helped relieve the pain that day was I had an edible, a THC edible, which like is legal in the state of Illinois, just so you know. I don't partake often, and that day it really did help a lot with the pain. I also conveniently actually had plans to start going to physical therapy for my shoulder literally that week. Last week is when I started. So we are working through that, but some days the pain has just been really bad, and it's also manifested in like headaches and things like that. And my physical therapist has also said like, oh, well, you know, you are going through a lot, and stress and grief and things like that do manifest through pain. So also know that like part of the barrier right now for me like filming is just like not being in pain long enough to do it. And also when I'm in pain, it's really hard to think creatively of like new ideas. And I feel a lot of pressure on this channel to not just be an Amberlynn Reed channel. And unfortunately right now, that is what it feels like. Like, I've never denied that a lot of my content is about Amberlynn. That's never something I've hidden from or strayed away from. But I have always like prided myself that like I do cover other people besides her, just not as often as I cover her. And right now, like, the idea of trying to like cover people that y'all would be interested in a way that you would care about what I was covering and things like that, like, it's hard for that to even cross my mind, which is weird because on Twitch I cover just all kinds of silly videos, but the pressure on Twitch feels so much lower for whatever reason. I often just like pull up a video minutes before I go live and we just watch whatever we're there to watch. And it's just such a different vibe. I don't know how I can like capture the essence of that and bring it over here to this channel. But it's just where I'm at right now. So I just wanted to share that update. You know, I'm still going to like mental therapy, emotional therapy as well, and most days I'm fine. Today and a few days this week so far, I've just been in pain, you know? And so we're just trying to work through that and get to where we need to be so that I can come back here more regularly, have space in my brain to think about creative things to do for you all over here. And I just want to continue to say I appreciate you all for sticking around and coming here to watch whatever I put over here. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. So thank you so much. Truly, 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 I appreciate it. You feel me? Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get in then to this Amberlynn Reid Instagram story stuff. It seems to be what has been her way of passing time in recent history. I think this started back this weekend is when some of these Instagram Q&As go back to. And I also want to thank my followers on Twitch who saved a lot of these screenshots, and I'm taking these from them. That's the source of my screenshots. I think I probably actually screenshotted some of these things as I was like going through, but they certainly have archived all of them. And so I thank the folks on Twitch who saved these things for me. We don't talk about Amberlynn that often on Twitch. They do keep up with her, obviously, because they still also enjoy me and my content. So, you know, you're still safe to come over to the Twitch and not witness Amberlynn Reid videos and reactions. It's still a thing you'll get over there, but they do keep me up to date. And not all of the things were interesting, so we're probably not going to cover every single Q&A situation type of deal. But one of the things I think in the first couple of Instagram Q&As that people thought was most interesting is that she's been baiting out that she's like in a relationship. And that's not necessarily news, because I think if you've been keeping up with her content in recent history, you know that she's been talking about this alleged Valentine and whoever, whatever. But somebody asked in one question, "Are you in love?" And she said, "Yes, I am." Another person was like, "Well, you know what's interesting is, if you don't know, I guess I should give you this background too. This video is going to be all over the place. I can already tell, even with me mushing up my words like that." Some other context that might be helpful to know, and people think it's quite a coincidence with how she's answering some of these questions, but one thing that has been posted on other parts of the internet is that Destiny is officially married to Lexus. You might recall Lexus in Destiny's videos from this past summer, where Destiny was exposing Amberlynn and their time together and whoever, whatever. And also, and I don't even know specifically where this was posted, I just seen people talking about it, but also Beck is apparently now in a relationship with a girlie that has green hair. I thought she looked really cute from the photos I saw. But again, I don't know exactly where that came from. I'm guessing something like Facebook and stuff like that. And I also don't really know that like Beck was trying to share that with this part of the internet. I have a feeling they were trying to share it with like their Facebook audience, and this part of the internet found it. So anyways, two of Amberlynn's exes are in good places with their relationships and things like that. So somebody asked, what do you think about Destiny is married? Well, what do you think about Destiny is married? What do you think about Destiny is married, Beck is taken, and you're single? And Amberlynn, being old smugglin', she even used the smugglin' emote. She was like, well, who said I was single? Well, who said I was single? And that's the thing, is like, she comes in here with this like smug attitude of like, how dare you assume that I'm single? It's like, well, girly, once again, we only know what's going on with you via your videos. And that's what's also wild to me. And there's somewhere in here where she talks about why she hasn't been posting as much. But what's wild to me is that she could be talking about these things in a video, and she could have video content and probably be making money from said content. And she could be teasing out this girlfriend, maybe girlfriend, love interest, whoever, whatever, situation type of deal in a video. And she's just not doing it. So I don't quite understand that, but it's also par for the course for her, to be honest with you. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like she really knows what she's doing on YouTube, and sometimes I'm like, girl, what are you doing on YouTube? Like, why haven't you learned how to, you know, like master the YouTube algorithm at this point? But I don't know, here we are. But speaking of the coincidence of her talking about this new love interest and then the Destiny and Beck situation type of deal, somebody did say, don't you think it's a bit strange that now Destiny and Beck have a wife and girlfriend and you're suddenly not single, LOL. And she said, I've been talking about this person way before those two things happened. Stop trying to make something out of nothing. All three of us have moved on. It's time for you to do so as well. Which I do agree to some extent. Like I think I probably agree to all extents actually. She has for sure mentioned this mysterious like Valentine or whoever whatever for a while. She never said it in a way that she was like not single anymore. Like she continuously talks about this Valentine as being like her crush and whoever whatever. I guess maybe that's done now, I guess, but to come on here and be smug and be like, well, I've been talking about this forever. Like, I don't think she's officially talked about it like she's in a relationship. So I will say that is maybe the extent that I don't agree to. But, you know, I think she is just going to be in a place where she's forever going to have to live with her exes being brought up, and I think that's because, one, she made so much content around those exes, around Destiny, around Beck. Destiny and Beck were in so many videos, sometimes when they didn't seem to want to be, and so I think she's gonna have to deal with that for a long time. And I think also the other reason people are going to bring specifically Destiny and Beck up a lot is because Beck and Destiny have both, like, spoken out specifically about what, like, the problems that they had in their relationships with Amberlynn. And so I think people are constantly going to be like, look how happy they are now without you, Amberlynn. And to some extent that's gonna, you know, that's not ever gonna end regardless of what Amberlynn does or doesn't do. I also think it's like pretty convenient right now to be like, we should all move on, when it was only literally just last summer that neither her nor Destiny were moving on. Right? Like they were both just last summer like unpacking each other's baggage on the internet. So it wasn't even that long ago that she was still, you know, living in the past. And she said like, oh, I've moved on before with both Destiny and Beck, where it was clear that she had. There were a couple posts about her dream of having the Millennium Falcon Lego set and people being confused because, you know, she's never really been interested in Star Wars and things like that. When I say that so many of the things that she also chooses to talk about in these Instagram Q&As are things that she's talked about 12 bajillion times, like that's why we really don't have to go over every single one of these posts. Like, we've heard her talk about that damn Millennium Falcon set for so long, and it's just like, also just so wild that she would want to basically spend a whole bunch of money on just like a puzzle for her, essentially. Like, I feel like she could save herself a lot of money by just like investing in puzzles. But yeah, I don't, like I said, don't have a lot to say about a lot of these things. The one thing in this like part of the Q&As that I do want to address was the thing that I talked about a little bit ago when it comes to like somebody wishing she posted more often. Specifically, the person said, I wish you posted more often. I love watching your videos while getting ready in the morning. And she said, honestly, I wish I posted more often too. I've changed the things I film, so it's made it to where I film less. I'm trying to figure out balance. And that's what's interesting to me. She says she's changed the things she's filmed, and I don't know exactly what she means by that. I'm guessing what she really means is that she just doesn't film some of the things that she used to film, which means she has less things to film. Because it's not like she's filming new things. Like, the things that she still posts are things that we've seen her post like 1,200 times before. So that's really confusing to me, what she means by that. I think what she really means is like, well, I'm not filming when I'm with my mom as much. I'm not filming when I'm with family or with friends, and so I have less interesting things to film. And I think she does probably need to figure out a balance with that. But the reality is that I feel like, and you know, maybe this is me projecting a little bit, because I feel like stuck creatively. Oh my god, my brain is just not functioning. Maybe it's me projecting because I also feel a little bit stuck creatively on this channel, but like, I think there are things, like she could take these Q&As and talk about the answers to this while she was doing other things. Like, you want to film a what I eat a day and you want to sit there and show us you eating? Talk about these questions while you're doing that, right? I don't know. I mean, that's not super creative, but like, you have time to sit here and answer these questions, and you do eat every day. So I don't know what's keeping you from filming that, since that's something you're comfortable with, and filming it every day. You know? I think that that's like my confusion about that, because that hasn't really changed. Those things haven't changed, and she could be filming that more often. So I guess I'm confused what she's trying to balance. And like I said, I really think also she could be getting some clickbait views by like talking about this alleged romance and stuff, which I think is also why people think it's just convenient that she's just answering that stuff right now, because she hasn't really referred to it as a relationship yet on her channel. So for her to be teasing out that she's not single in her Instagram Q&As is just confusing. Also, you can kind of get a sense of the different days that she's been doing these Q&As based on the backgrounds that are in the screenshots that I'm posting. One thing that I really think is important, because I bring it up a lot and have brought it up a lot ever since she moved to Oklahoma and has clearly not pursued any kind of like mental health care, is that somebody asked, are you in therapy? I know it's important for BPD recovery, because she's been talking a lot about having BPD and all the things that she's realized about herself because of BPD. And she said, no, but I've realized recently that I truly need to be. Which is just interesting, because like, okay, one, then why are we not? Then what are we doing to make that happen, you know? Like, what are we gonna do about that, ma'am? Okay. But then two, like, what do you mean you've just realized that recently? Because truly, she herself has talked specifically a lot about how the therapist that she had, because she was pursuing weight loss surgery, was so great and so impactful and so meaningful to her, which I hope it really was. It also allegedly led to this diagnosis of BPD, and has thus like enlightened her about her life and everything, and yet she's done nothing with that. And I guess really my point of bringing that up is like, she said that she only recently realized she needed to be in therapy, but it's like, therapy was allegedly working so well for you back then, and to some extent I really do believe it was helpful to her. I don't think it was helpful in the extent that like, I think she got her diagnosis of BPD and then just was like, okay, I got the diagnosis, like she does with other diagnoses that she has not related to her mental health, right? Like she hears a diagnosis and then she's like, okay, that explains everything that's wrong in my life, I'm good. And so anyways, I hope that she's reflecting on that and really does go seek mental health therapy, because she is in a place, like, I know people get tired of hearing like, you know, like, Zach, not everybody can access mental health therapy, things like that, and I 100% agree. I think it's like so difficult to access all kinds of healthcare in this country, but she's certainly somebody who has the means to do it, right? And so I just hope that, you know, this is a moment of self-awareness for her, that she can find some level of peace and comfort and moving forward with therapy. This screenshot actually is specifically from Oh Lordy It's Jordy on Twitter, but somebody said, what does your dream woman look like? And she said, honestly, I have her. Which is fascinating to me, because I think Amberlynn has answered questions like that about every single ex that she's previously had, and it's always, I already have her, she's already here, and I'm like, all right, tell that to Wifey, tell that to Beck, tell that to Destiny, Crystal, whoever, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure you've said that about every single one of your exes. And I mean, like, that's also clearly from the screenshot what Jordy was feeling as well, because it's like, truly not this shit again. There were a number of questions she answered where people were asking her about like things that happened a long time ago Like somebody was asking about her making fun of girls in front of a rock wall, which I don't really even remember that specifically. Somebody asked her about, they said, you said before when you're gaining weight, you just say you're losing. Is that going on now? And she's like, that's something I did 8 years ago, but that doesn't mean I'm doing it now. I do think a lot of people, especially for like smaller things like that, well, I think it's understandable that people think she's lying about her weight. But I do think there's some things like this one small moment where she was like joking and laughing and making fun of girls taking selfies. Like, they hold on to this stuff for a long time that I do think like, okay, maybe we can let some of this go. There's probably some things she's doing now that are still problematic that you could also be focusing on. But I think that, and then I'm like, well, why is she even addressing it to begin with? Like, why are you addressing the rock wall girlies? Like, why is that of importance to you that we're bringing this up in your Instagram Q&As? Like, I don't understand. Like, if it were me, I don't know that I would be bringing something from 7 years ago up, you know? And somebody said, would you consider doing a reaction vid to your old videos? How you felt then/now, opinions changed, etc. And she said, definitely, that's a great idea. And I'm like, no, it isn't. She tried that, I think maybe last summer she was doing that. Like, I remember specifically one of the ones she did was her reacting to the Shrimpgate video. And it was just insufferable to sit through. But she did it with other videos too. And there was even one point where she was like breaking it up into different vlogs. So each vlog, she would go and watch an old video and she'd watch like 3 minutes of it. And then she'd be like, that's all for this video. We'll come back to it in the next vlog. And it was just so insufferable. Like, she's so bad at doing reactions, and I not acting like what I'm doing over here is like masterpiece theater or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying that I like have a whole ton of special talents over here. When I say that Amberlynn is so bad at it and she doesn't realize that it does take some level of skill to be able to do this, it's just bad. So whoever suggested that she do that, fuck you. Like, honestly. Because she's so bad at it. And honestly, I just looked on Instagram and she literally 28 minutes ago just posted another Q&A thing where people could ask her more questions. So I guess that's what we're doing right now. Fuck anybody who wants a YouTube video. It's funny because there was the one person, you know, who asked about wanting more videos, and there's another person that was like, let me go find it because now I lost it again. Where did it go? Oh, there was another person that was like, I wish your vlogs were longer. I could watch your videos for hours and not get bored, LOL. And she said, that's super sweet of you. And you know what she's given people? Fucking crumbs. She's given people these Instagram Q&As. That's what she's giving. You know, people are out here being so positive and kind, saying they want more content from her. And she said, you know what? You can have some Instagram videos. And by videos, I don't even mean videos. I mean Q&As. Here's a few of the question and answers from the post she's currently working on. One of the things she said is that she's gonna try posting tonight or tomorrow on YouTube. She said that she explained the reason that she stopped doing intuitive eating is because she wasn't making as much progress as she should have been or that she wanted to. And she also said that the nickname that we can use for her new love interest is Valentine. So in case you're wondering what she's up to right now in the Q&As, there you go. Anyways, I'm willing to be forgiving of her because, you know, who knows what she's going on. Who knows what she's going on? Who knows what's going on with her? Jesus. See, and who knows what's going on with me? I'm clearly struggling. Clearly just not doing well over here. So let me just wrap it up. I'm kind of surprised that this video lasted as long as it did because I thought this was just gonna be real quick. So I hope that you enjoy my longer videos And if you're looking for more content from me, I have been kind of consistent with my Twitch channel and also the re-upload channel, Zachary Michael also. So feel free to go check out that content as well. If I'm not posting over here, I'm surely posting something over there, maybe, probably. Anyways, that's all I have time for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did and you're brand new, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get notifications. Leave me a comment, hit like, click share, follow me on all my social media, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!